Hey there, I'm Matt. Welcome to my channel, and in today's video, I'm going to show you a really easy way on how to create your own cat door. Hopefully we made it big enough.
The purpose behind this project is to relocate a litter box into this closet space, and we want to make sure the cats always have access to it, and at the same time we want to prevent our larger dog from being able to get in here. This closet door is 28 inches wide, and probably the biggest detail here is that it's a hollow door. This generally means we'll have to add a little reinforcement for our cat door. And ultimately, this is a really simple project. I've added similar cat doors throughout the house. This is actually our third one that we're putting in. One big thing to note with this cat door, I'm only using this on interior doors within the house. If this were an exterior door, I'd need to have some sort of separation between the inside and outside of the house.
And in our house, we have two cats, and this is the big boy. This is Colt. And so we're going to make sure that whatever door we cut in here is going to fit him because our other cat's smaller, and so that won't be a problem. So we just kind of can put him up to the door, kind of gauge the general height and width that we need. Cats are pretty good at squeezing through items anyway, so it doesn't have to be a huge opening, but we want to make sure that it's going to be comfortable for this guy to fit through there.
After putting Colt up against the door, I could see he stands around 10 inches tall when he's pretty much fully upright. And so just to give this door a clean appearance, I'm only going to go up to the height of the bottom of the paneling there. That'll give it a nice clean look. And this ends up being just shy of 8 inches tall, which is going to be plenty for him. Cats are pretty good at crouching and squeezing through smaller spaces. And we're going to go around 9 inches wide. And this size is totally customizable to fit your needs. After figuring out the rough dimensions, it was time to remove the door. I initially tried to knock the hinge pins out, but those things weren't budging, so I quickly pivoted and just used a screwdriver to completely take the door along with the hinges right off the door frame. Now with the door laying flat on the ground, I'm going to go ahead and make my marks for where I'm going to be cutting our opening. This step is completely optional, but I like to use painter's tape just to outline where I think I'm going to be cutting, and then I make my marks onto this tape. It can also help prevent some chipping as we're cutting our opening. And I want to have our cat door centered on the door, so I'm just finding the center point, which is 14 inches. And then I'm just taking a straight edge and drawing a line across the bottom of the panels there. It's a good reference point. And then when I make my cut, I'm actually going to go about half an inch below that. And that'll give me enough room to add some trim that will be flush with the bottom of the panel. Now I'm just going ahead and making my vertical marks so that I can cut the width of the door opening. And I'm just going essentially 4.5 inches on each side of center to give me an overall 9-inch width. And after marking out the box, I'm just taking my tape measure and measuring both diagonals, making sure they're equal, and this indicates they're squared. If they're a little bit off, you can always go back and readjust your markings until you get square.
All right, so now is the fun part. We get to cut our rough opening here into the cat door.
I'm going to start my cuts with a circ saw. I've got a fine tooth blade on here. Totally not required. A hand saw could be used just as easily. So I'm going to go ahead and cut our two vertical side marks. I'm going to bring the blade all the way up to our top line, and that's where I'm going to stop. And then I'm using the jigsaw to finish up the two side cuts and also to make our horizontal top cut. The jigsaw is much easier to maneuver and to make the turn up at the corners of our cat door.
Now that we have our opening cut out, we can see inside this door. When we say it's hollow, it for the most part it's hollow. This is actually just some cardboard that was placed inside the door for a little additional stability. We can see there's some styrofoam here, and then at the bottom we've got it looks like a little piece of wood or MDF material for some framing support around the door.
And due to the lack of support within the door, there's a lot of flex, and so I'm going to be adding some structural reinforcement, and this will also give me something to tack or trim onto the exterior of the cat opening. And the cavity inside our door is 1 inch wide, so we're going to go ahead and rip some boards to fit in there. And I just had a scrap piece of 2x4 laying around, so I busted out the table saw and was able to quickly rip some 1-inch wide strips of wood that I could then cut to length. And then I tore away some of the styrofoam support just so that I could squeeze in my strips of wood. And I ended up leaving just the cardboard there in the middle. It wasn't really worth the hassle of trying to cut that out. And it's easy enough to just work around it with my structural support. And now I'm just cutting our support framing to length to fit inside the cavity around the perimeter of our opening. And now with our pieces cut to length, I can just go ahead and slide them into the door, kind of push them so they're flush with the rest of the door. Then I'm just going to go ahead and tack these pieces into place. I'm just using 3/4 inch 18 gauge finish nails. And these nails aren't providing any sort of strength to this, really just holding these pieces of wood in place.
And hopefully so far you're finding this content helpful, and if so, please consider subscribing. It means a ton to me. I've got a lot of additional unique content planned for this channel. So our next step, now that we have kind of our support framing in place around the cat door, is we're gonna get this trimmed out so it looks nice and clean. There's a couple different ways we can go about this. In the past, I've actually just gone ahead and bought some of the corner or L-shaped molding that I can trim to length. But what I'm going to do today is actually I'm going to cut my own L-shaped molding, trim it out. That way I don't have to run to the hardware store. I've got plenty of scrap lumber here. And even beyond kind of the L-shaped molding, there's many different ways that this can be trimmed out. So this is more kind of an aesthetics, preferential thing, but I'll give a quick demonstration of how I'm going to get this trimmed out.
For the L-shaped style of trim, I'll essentially be running it along the perimeter of both the front and the back side of the door, and they'll end up meeting up right in the center of the opening. To get started on this, I'm just taking measurements of the thickness, and it ends up being 1.5 inches. And here's just a quick sketch of the profile of the molding. I'm going to do a 1x1 inch profile, and then I'll cut out about 3/4 inch from the middle there, so that I end up with 3/4 inch leg that on each side that will meet in the middle of our threshold. To get started on the trim, I'm just going to chop a few segments of scrap 2x4, just kind of some rough lengths that'll fit around the perimeter, and then I'll go ahead and create the molding from these and chop them down to final length afterwards. Using my table saw, I've got the fence set to a 1-inch width so that I can go ahead and rip my 2x4s down and get nice 1x1 profiles. After ripping 6 of these pieces, it's time to go ahead and notch these out, and I've got just a quick markup here showing the 3/4 inch section that I'll be removing. It's kind of that shaded area. And because we'll be notching and not actually cutting through the entire surface of the wood, this is where I'm going to go ahead and adjust my table saw, take off the through cut riving knife, take off my safety guards, and go ahead and put on my non-through cut riving knife. And obviously, anytime you're using a table saw, you gotta maintain a good level of safety, but when we're talking about removing safety guards, it's even more important just to maintain extra vigilance in how you're using the equipment. And now I'm just adjusting my blade height and fence width to match the 3/4 inch marks that I've got on my stock. And for this, I'm using 2 push sticks to move the wood through the saw blade. I'm using 1 push stick to maintain control of the horizontal plane, and then I'm using the other one on the back side to maintain vertical downward force. And a lot of this is just, again, I don't have my anti-kickback or safety guards on, so 2 push sticks helps maintain control. After making 1 pass through, I turn the wood 90 degrees and run it back through, and it allows me to notch out the center, leaving me with just the L shape at the end. Then I simply just repeat this process for the remaining pieces to create all 6 of the corner trims that I'll be installing on the cat door. After getting all the trim pieces cut, I'm going to go ahead and just do some quick sanding along the edges, just kind of smooth it out. I'll be painting ours white, so I'm not too concerned about total perfection here. I can always use a little bit of wood putty and paint to cover it up. But again, this is all just preferential on how far you want to go. With this literally just being a cat door, I don't anticipate a whole lot of scrutiny and assessment around any imperfections or blemishes that may be present. And back to the door, we've got all our trim pieces. I'm just going to go ahead, mark them to length. I'm going to be doing mitered corners, so 45 degrees in each of the corners. Pretty simple. I'm going to be using my chop saw, otherwise even a miter box works just as well. And just a quick tip, if you're using L-shaped trim for your cat door, I place the 45 degree marking down on the fence. After making our miter cut, we're left with a 45 degree angle on one end and pretty much a 90 degree angle beveled cut on the other end. And now you can see how this trim fits around the perimeter. We've got our 45 degree angle on the outside of the door, and then that beveled 90 degree is on the inside corner of the door. And now with our trim piece in place, I'm just making a mark so I can cut it to length at the bottom there. After getting both of the side trim pieces cut, I'm taking my measurements for the top piece. So this top piece is going to have 2 mitered corners there at the top. So I'm just measuring from one point to the other point so that I know the length of this top trim piece. In my case, it's 10 3/4 inches long. And so then I go ahead and transfer my angles and that 10 3/4 inch onto our top trim piece. And here's a quick demo using a miter box to cut these trim pieces. This is that upper piece. I'm going to be cutting the 45 degrees at both ends. And now a quick test fit, just making sure those miters look okay. And everything here's looking good, so I've got a nice fit. And now I can go ahead and just tack these 3 pieces in with my 3/4 inch trim nails. And I'm just holding those miter joints in tight as I tack these into place. And then flipped our door over, and I've already gone ahead and cut the next 3 trim pieces to length, following the same process that I did for the first 3. And as I'm positioning these other 3 pieces, I'm just trying to create a flush edge to mate up nicely with those first 3 pieces I put together. So there's a little bit of wiggle room here. This trim doesn't need to necessarily fit super tight to the door itself, so some fine-tuning adjustments can be made at this point. And once we're happy with the final fit, go ahead and tack those in. Alright, trim is all installed and we can go ahead and do our finishing touches. Totally optional, but I'm just using a little bit of latex caulk, filling in small gaps that are present at the mitered edges and where the 2 sides of the trim pieces meet up in the middle. And then I used a little bit of wood putty to fill in the nail holes and just some gentle sanding followed by a coat of paint to finish this off. And now with all the finishing touches complete, I'm just reinstalling the door back onto the frame, just screwing those hinges in and doing a quick check just to make sure the door shuts properly. So now we have a nice functioning cat door. We can have a litter box in there, keep it separated, make sure the dog can't get into there and have some snacks. All right, here is a moment of truth. Our big boy fits right on through. Overall, this door took me a couple hours to complete. It was a relatively simple project. And the thing to remember is this is totally customizable. You can make the opening as large as you want. You can trim it out, finish the trim however you want. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if so, feel free to like and subscribe to see more quick and easy DIY content around the house.